fear. The moment we feared.
It was just announced that the first 2 episodes are going to be going to movie theaters. I was curious what your reaction was when you heard. Did you guys not? You guys not know this?
Very cool. So, very cool.
There's your reaction.
Anything else you can tell us?
They announced that the first 2 episodes are going to be played in movie theaters as part of a special fan event.
Oh,
very cool.
Right. I heard about the fan event. Okay, that makes sense. That's incredible, and rightfully so. I want people to have that experience like we did of seeing it on a big screen. It's very cinematic, so that's amazing.
You're the first person I heard that from. Great news.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, that's the brand new news right from you, right there. You knew?
I saw that on Twitter.
I don't know.
You're not on Instagram?
No. Well, I am, but I don't look at it.
Yeah, I found that out on Instagram.
Bravo.
Same.
That is very, very good news. I know Corey Olsen, the Tolkien professor, was pushing for that, so obviously someone did well.
It's really cool. I think the show is so cinematic, and the first 2 episodes, J.A. Bayona, who directed it, is such an amazing director who works with the camera so beautifully. So I think they'll really shine in cinemas.
He is a film director, he's an auteur. You know, there's very few. I feel like there's very few of those directors still working at this scale. There's a handful of those that believe in the process from its inception, that get involved till, you know, the end of it, like see it through, want to run as long as the cameras need to roll in order to find that nugget and that kernel, that essence. And it was, that's what the process was like for me to work with him. And I had a particular closeness to him as we both speak Spanish. So I was able to meet that even more intimate J.A. And because I call him J.A. because we're friends. He did a thing that was very, that I found, being more of a visual person and the character being quite behavioral. He would run takes without any dialogue sometimes, and we would just run through the beats with looks. He would play music to get you in that environment of the character. So it just felt like working with just a great film director.
His imagination is just wild, and so is his ambition. And yet also he's very kind of silly and lighthearted on set.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful combination for an actor to be able to work with someone like that.
Yeah.
And I think also like this is a global cast, which I think really suited the material because Tolkien was obsessed with myth and legend, and we had kind of all these different cultures who kind of were bringing their particular imagination from their particular place. And J.A.'s is just, and also his links with horror. I think that fantasy and horror kind of go really well together.
The beautiful thing about Tolkien is that a new generation can continuously find this material. And so I'm curious how you would pitch this show to someone who, you know, maybe saw the Peter Jackson movies once and have never read the books.
This is where you want to start. The films are Middle-earth and its adulthood, and they stand on their own. But this is the first chapter. This is the first steps on these epic journeys that you get to witness. You don't need to know anything, just turn on Amazon, you'll be happy.
And what you'll see is such a rich set of worlds and realms, because each realm is at the peak of its power. Numenor, Khazad-dûm, the Elven Kingdoms. It's a brilliant time to come to Middle-earth and discover what happened before all those major events that we know quite well.
The beauty about Tolkien's work is that there's so many themes which are timeless and still modern. Themes of friendship, of hope, of love and despair, and I guess sticking together, believing that something better is coming. And I think that's the beauty of this world, because it's so vast and so fantastic, yet within it, it has these stories which hopefully audiences will really be able to connect to. I think it's a really good combination.
I think it's interesting because Tolkien was not a big fan of allegory, but I think one thing that appeals to me about fantasy is that it cushions you in a world where you can comfortably explore your our existential longing, what it is to be human. And those themes of love, of loyalty, all these things are timeless. They belong to all of us, they're universal. And that belongs to this moment as much as it did 20 years ago.
I would say that the themes are mythological. They you know, where he started it was local, but it's translated to the universal. So any of the themes that we feel as humans, you know, the battle between head and heart, the relationship to power, what happens to ego. I mean, and specifically in terms of Numenor, there's people who want to live forever, and there's another side of the island, which is more of the faithful, who would like to continue on with the gift of Iluvatar and die and be mortal. So there are many a theme, and I think because Tolkien was a genius and that he condensed lots of different mythologies, that this will be relatable as a story throughout the centuries, probably for him. I'm sure it's going to be ongoing.
Going into this, we were told that there's a 5-season commitment to this, which is great. It's job security for you guys, and you can sort of plan out what you're going to be doing. I'm curious how much you asked about the future of the arc, or where the story is going. Did you want to know any of that, or you're just focused on the now?
I mean, of course, I mean, everyone kind of wants to know, like, what their security is like, I guess. But I think right now, I think the person that Theo is in the first season will be very different to what Theo is when he's mid-20s, you know. He's also the human. Some people are elves and they get to live a lot longer. So I honestly have no clue what's going on. But right now, I've been set a task to do, and I think I don't really want to get ahead of myself too much and just kind of focus on doing the job for now. And if I live through Theo as he's living it, then I think that's where the best of it will come out.
You won't be in your mid-20s 5 seasons from now. You'll be 19.
Oh yeah, probably.
Well, I guess we know who we're playing in terms of Elendil, Eärien, Kemen, but like some of the characters are canon, so we know where the trajectory is, and Tolkien's written kind of signposts, moments that we know for these characters. But at the minute, we're focusing on season 1, and you know, exploring the characters in their early beginnings. Isildur, for example, isn't a warrior yet. He's a sailor on the cusp of adulthood who's trying to find himself and his place in Numenor.
It's quite exciting to kind of not know everything. And I think also kind of the showrunners have, as they've got to know us all as well, had that influence how they've written particular characters and stuff. So it's exciting.
I'm curious if you guys were able to keep up with some of the storylines that were happening in other kingdoms and other realms, or were you guys focused primarily on what you were doing?
I think it's you got to focus on the world that you're in, I think. Yeah, I guess that there's no need really for a sense of the macro. You can just keep it to your world, and I think that benefits your character, depending on your storyline, of course. And with myself, I think it was all things Numenor.
I mean, we were primarily focused within our worlds, but we had the gift of going to other people's sets and seeing their worlds, and that was really special. I once saw a dwarf, a Owain Arthur, eating sushi at lunch, and that is a very bold thing to see. He had to kind of like take his beard and like lift it up and then just swallow some sushi. But like, yeah, seeing all the worlds, it was very special, but we only fully saw the finished product a few weeks ago, and that was an emotional experience because we've all been so engrossed in our own worlds, and then seeing everyone else bring their A game, and yeah, it was great. It was great.
Whose review of Rings of Power means the most to you?
For better or worse, my mum. My mum, she introduced me to the book. She's been a huge Tolkien fan as long as I can remember. And, you know, I grew up in Wellington, so Tolkien has been inescapable my whole life. When I was in primary school, Peter Jackson was making his first trilogy. When I was at drama school in Wellington, he was making the Hobbit movies. You know, Middle-earth has been in the air my whole life. I never thought I'd be part of one of these stories, but now that I am, the person who has the strongest opinion is, in fact, my mother.
My mom.
That's also my answer.
Yeah, your mom. My mom. My mother is one of the least overtly excitable people about my career. Not in a bad way. She's proud, but she, you know, I am her boy. You know, so there is all this mirage of the fame or big posters and stuff like that. That really doesn't do much for her. I want to bring essence to the character, and if my mother sees that, I know that then I did it right because she knows my essence. So like I'm very excited to hear what she has to say.
I found that I was terrified for the characters at every turn. It felt like there was a threat around every corner. I personally don't think I'd make it about 5 minutes in the world of Middle Earth. How long do you think you would survive?
I can't see very well, so
you could get some glasses, surely. Middle Earth.
Does
glasses.
anyone have glasses?
We don't need them in Numenor. We've got perfect.
Yeah, if I lived on Numenor, I could last a long time. I think if I was in Middle Earth.
She's got a lot of smarts though, this one, so she'd work her way around it.
No, you could go to like a wizard and like get some
healing.
Eyes, yeah, get some new eyes.
Like, could Emma go to a wizard and get some new eyes?
An actor in Middle Earth with all these orcs. Do you think I could say a sonnet, like, and they'd leave me alone or something? I don't know. I'd like to think maybe a couple of weeks. You know, I enjoy fishing. I can climb a tree, but probably not very long, to be quite honest, with all these warriors and everything. And you know, I'm used to my comfortable life in the 21st century, so.